What do you think about the whole concept of teams?
You know, I think it definitely depends on the team, because there are some teams where the team leaders, they don't want their members getting any exposure, and it's just for them to build themselves and say, hey, I sold 1 million houses, but they're not really promoting the people behind those 1 million houses.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
Are you? Fuck, you're young. You don't even realize how young you are. Do you realize that you're really young?
I get told that a lot.
Let me just put it in perspective here. As for you guys are now starting to be old, right? Think about that. You strolled in here, Greg and Scott, our amazing media team. They strolled in here. They were like 24.
I was 24.
24, young. Nobody else ever came in here that was younger than them. They were the babies.
Oh, okay.
Now people like yourself, 23, are starting to roll in. They're 27, 26, staring down the barrel of 30.
Mm-hmm.
So let me put this in perspective for you. At 23 years old, bro, life starts at 30. You don't even know who you are until you're 30. When you're 30, you start to try to figure it out. Now, albeit I was a late bloomer, still am a late bloomer. So I'm really like 25 in the developmental sense, but 43 in the physical body sense. Although I've been going to OG Fitness and I'm carved out of marble right now. Underneath this wrinkly ass shirt that's stained with fajita is Michelangelo's David with a bigger dick. So speaking of big dicks, you are one of the top 20 under 40.
Yes.
Which means you are one of the big, young, swinging dicks of real estate. How do you feel about that?
It feels amazing. It's been something that ever since I knew about the 20 under 40, I've been very excited about, and I've applied, you know, this is my second year applying, and I'm happy that I got the award. It's very exciting.
I'm on a roll today, right? You feel it? It's one of those days where, like, some days when you're doing the podcast, it's just not flowing. Today's one of those days where it's flowing.
Okay.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
You're, for all intents and purposes, you're Jewish. Jonathan Schuman. You got the last name. You're in the club. When I look at you, I look at myself, I think we're related.
Fair enough.
Both Jews, although you have better hair than I do. I don't know if you're going to keep it, though. You're going to keep it?
I hope so.
Let me see. Let me see the top.
Yeah.
Then you're good. Let me see the back. Let me see where the yarmulke goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I know you're good.
Yeah, I got a nice thick set of hair.
Yeah, you do. It's like pretty carpet-like.
Yeah.
Yeah?
They say it's like your, I think your hair comes from, what is it, your mother's father?
They don't
Something
know.
like that.
They don't know.
Yeah.
My mother's father had a full head of hair. Look at me. Bald as a cue ball. I don't just shave it. It's gone, bro.
Okay, so that's a myth then.
No, it's a myth. It looks like a koala. So, but yours is pretty strong looking, so I have high hopes for you. So top 20 into 40. Yo, I was looking at your Instagram before, right? You sell some really nice shit. Like some new home, really nice, expensive shit.
Yeah.
How, you're 23 years old. How does that happen?
So it originally started, I'm going to go back a little bit to when I first started.
Bring it back.
You know, when I was 19, that's when I got into the business. And, you know, I worked on a very high producing team.
You were young. Where'd you grow up?
In Merrick.
Oh, yeah? Kennedy?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. So I work, so you know the 7-Eleven on Merrick Road in Belmore?
Yes.
Across from the temple. What's it called now? Did you have a bar mitzvah?
No. So I'm half Jewish.
Oh, that's
so.
right. Oh, yeah. Father's side. You got the name. Yeah. You get all the, you still get all the perks.
Fair enough.
You get entrance into the club. You know the temple I'm talking about with the 7-Eleven across the street?
With the 7-Eleven across the street.
7-Eleven, Merrick Road, Belmore.
So there's the 7-Eleven on that corner.
Yes.
By the restaurant Molto Bene.
Yes. The Italian place, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that 7-Eleven?
That's 7-Eleven.
Okay.
So I worked there from the time I was 16 years old to the time I was 21 years old, where I then left to go work at the male strip club. Right? What was the point of the story? I don't fucking know. Keep going.
I told you I grew up in Merrick and
Kennedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see, where were we?
Did you like Kennedy?
I did. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I didn't mind. It was a good school. Mostly great teachers.
I'm a Wanto guy. We're neighbors.
Yeah, exactly.
So 19 years old, you didn't go to college.
So I went to Nassau for 2 years, got an associate's degree.
I fucking love Nassau.
Kind of just to say I did it. You know, I like that school too, you know, but, you know, I loved real estate. There was no reason to continue further.
The girls were smoking in Nassau, weren't they?
Oh, yeah.
I went to 4 different colleges. Nassau by far the best looking girls.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
If I could go back to Nassau, I would go back to Nassau. Not for the girls, because I had a good time and it was a time of real innocence. You're 23. You're still pretty innocent. You still living at home with your parents?
Yeah, still living at home.
Stay there.
Yeah, I'm staying there as long as I can. I'm going to have investment properties before I probably even have my own house. So
your mom does your laundry still?
Yeah, sometimes.
My mom did my laundry up until 3 years ago, bro.
My mom loves doing it. My mom's half of the family's Italian. So,
we're the same.
Okay, perfect.
So my mom is Sicilian, 100%. The only difference is she converted.
Oh, she did?
Right before I was born.
Okay.
So we're the same.
Awesome.
Merrick, Wantua.
Yeah, it's like the same thing.
Pizza bagels.
Yeah. And where in Wantua did you grow up?
Down south, Mandalay, right by that gentleman we were talking about before.
Right.
He lived 2 houses down from me.
Yeah.
Hence me.
Oh, you know what? I've actually heard a couple stories. I know heard you guys were friends when you were younger.
Yes, sir. So keep going.
All right.
So you're like 2 years in college. You're like, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
It's real estate.
Right.
I'm not learning shit here.
Exactly.
I'm not spending the money.
100%.
You knew you wanted to be a real estate agent.
Yeah. So originally, I knew I wanted to be a real estate investor. I wanted to flip houses. I wanted to be a developer. And, listen, when you're 19, you're in college, you don't exactly have the funds for stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So, I was learning more about real estate sales and the whole sales end of it. It seemed interesting. I'm like, I don't know. Will I love this? Will I not? And then as I started taking the classes, I just became much more passionate about it, actually being a real estate agent. And the rest is history. I'm so glad I did it, and I wouldn't do anything differently.
So do you still want to do investing, or you're off the investing train and you want to sell?
So I actually still want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I just love the sales side of it so much now that I think it's likely going to hold me off, a couple more years.
So you want to be like the Brian Karp model. So Brian Karp sells 200 houses a year and then takes the money and then buys rental properties with it. And now at 40 years old, he doesn't have to worry about anything.
Right. That's the plan.
You're really lucky too, because you got a very, very early start. You're a super young guy. Mm-hmm. Like at 23, I was going into the body shop business, and then I didn't get into real estate until I was started training in real estate until I was 33 years old.
Oh, okay.
So you have a lot of time, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you're so lucky.
Yeah.
So you've been in real estate for 4 years.
Yeah, coming up on 4.
So you won top 20 under 40 last year, which is year 3 of your career.
Oh yeah, so it's based off of the previous year.
Yes,
right.
Exactly. How'd you do it?
How did I do it? So, again, going back to where I was, where, starting on that top producing team and just learning the ropes of the business and just doing their open houses, meeting buyers, running around with these buyers, and then just kind of figuring out over those couple of years, what works for me when it comes to getting leads, building a business, and, just closing deals and trying to become a top producer. And, I figured out what works best for me. And
no, keep going.
I figured out what works best for me. For me, it was the sphere of influence and just, really keeping in contact with past clients and getting referrals from them. And, it's just from there, just would build and build. And as I always go back to the snowball effect, it's like one thing happens, then another happens, and another happens. And that's how it was with the deals. It was like one deal would come in. Okay, I'm excited. Another one would come in. And as time went on, the deals just came in quicker and quicker, more deals and, listings, buyers. But now it's lately been predominantly sellers. What
do you think about the whole concept of teams? Do you like it? You think there's a place for it? You think it's bullshit? What do you think?
I think it definitely depends on the team, because there's some teams where the team leaders, they don't want their members getting any exposure, and it's just for them to build themselves and say, hey, I sold 1 million houses, but they're not really promoting the people behind those 1 million houses and, what they're doing. So to me, that's kind of pointless, because being on a team, you want them to also grow your name and show everyone who you are and say, hey, this person's a part of the team too. Which is what I loved about the team that I started on.
Nice.
They were always promoting me, putting me on their social media pages. We always had nice photo shoots of all of us together. Even in, some of the penny saver ads that we would do, it would be pictures of all of us, even if it was mainly focused on the 2 team leaders. And, I think that's so important. If you are going to be on a team, make sure you have the support. Mm-hmm. Make sure you have a team leader that's willing to help you with just about anything other than, do the work for you, still have to put in the work. Just because you're on a team, it's no excuse. You still put in the work.
So do you feel that most people, you think that everybody who's coming to the business should start on a team and then get the education and then graduate to work by yourself?
I would agree with that. Yeah.
How did you go about selecting what you felt was the right team?
So I actually knew one of the team leaders. You know, I went to school with her kids.
Okay.
And that's how I knew of her, and I knew of her partner. So right away, you know, once I passed the real estate test, I called her. I sat down with them, and it was the first brokerage, first team I even interviewed with.
Nice.
I was just like, this is my home. And the only reason I didn't say yes on the spot was because someone else I knew set up a meeting with me at another company. And, you know, I'm like, all right, not going to be rude, going to go there, hear them out. But I knew that was where I needed to be. They were both top producing agents in the area that I live in, which was perfect. It's where I want to work. It's where I know people. And, you know, just the way that they market their properties and just the presentation to the clients, that was exactly what I wanted.
Nice.
So, you know, for anyone looking to be on a team, definitely make sure you're going to the right team that gives you the support, that helps you out, and that gives you the exposure, not just the team leaders.
So top 20 under 40, prestigious thing, tough thing, right? Also, even getting listings is a really hard thing. So like you have 40,000, 28,000 realtors.
Yeah, somewhere about there.
Right? 5% of those realtors do all the business.
Right.
Everybody else does UGATs. Half of them literally don't do any deals.
Yeah.
But see, you're here, 23 years old, right? And a lot of people's like, because I'm friends with, you know, the majority of agents out there. You have people like, let's say, Dan O'Neill. You know Dan O'Neill?
Of course.
So Dan O'Neill's a young guy, but he's like 29. He's not that young. And a lot of people say, a lot of people say to him, hey, you're really young. You're really young. You are actually really young. Is that an objection when you're coming into people's houses and you're 23 years old and you're trying to sell $1 million house on the water in South America?
You know, surprisingly not.
No?
And I'll tell you why, or at least why I think. You know, not that I've never gotten that objection before, but I really can't remember the last time I got it. You know, it was maybe in the beginning when I was closer to 19 when I first started. But I think the reason is that I don't get that objection is because I put together such a good listing presentation that I have so much to talk about that I can really show off my expertise and my passion for real estate that nobody can really come to me and say, oh, you're too young. No, look at this. I got a proven track record. This is what I'm going to do for you. And take a look at all this fancy marketing material.
I like it.
You know, so I distract them from it.
Jews and Italians, we can talk forever.
100%.
Literally. My dad says I could talk to a wall. I could talk to a cockroach. I kind of feel like we're related. You and I are the same.
Exactly.
So what everybody really wants to know, right? Because everyone's sitting out there saying, hey, I want to do business. Because right now it's tough for a lot of people.
Right.
A lot of people aren't doing business.
Right.
But you're doing business.
I am doing business.
And I was looking at your Instagram. Anybody who hasn't looked at his Instagram, check out his Instagram. What's your Instagram?
Jonathan_JMS Realty LI.
You know what's on Jonathan's Instagram? A shit ton of really nice new, if not renovated, actually it's a good mix of flips, new construction, really nice like higher end houses,
right? Some
like mid 5, 6s stuff. But for the most part, you're doing like some pretty expensive shit.
Yeah, you know, I'd say the average house is probably upwards of about 800,000.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
How you doing that? Where's it coming from? What's the deal?
All right.
How's the prospect? Because that's what everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to know. Everybody who's watching this podcast is going to be like,
right, I
want to be top 20 under 40 next year. See Jonathan, he's got a good rap, marketing material. I like him, strong presence,
right?
Thick hair, right? She's got the Jewish thing. But he's getting all the listings. But I'm not getting all the listings. I'm getting like 2 listings. He's getting, how many deals did you close last year?
Let's see, about 16, 17.
Okay. Jonathan's 3 years in the game, and he did 17 deals on his own.
Right. So
what does he know that I don't know?
So the first piece of advice is find out what lead source works best for you, or what way of doing business you feel works for you. You know, what I mean by that is, for me, it's going through my sphere of influence, friending everyone I know on Facebook, following everyone I know on Instagram, making sure they follow me back, making sure that they see everything I put out there. That's where I start. Then once I get the business, for example, let's say I meet a buyer at my open house, I sell them a house. I keep in touch with that buyer or, that seller if they're still in the area. I'll go to their house. I'll leave a little nice gift on their doorstep every quarter. I try to do quarterly gifts for past clients.
Really?
And they keep me in mind.
What do you give them?
So I'll give them like a little plant or, little box of chocolates for Valentine's Day. Just like small, simple things.
That's really nice though.
Yeah. And how are they going to forget that? I put my business card on it and, that day is always really nice, the day that I drop them off, because then I get all the text messages, all the love from past clients. And
so every quarter, And it's interesting. You know Larry Theodore?
Yes.
All right. So Larry Theodore does a similar type of thing. He doesn't do it every quarter.
Right.
But every year he'll go and like deliver a fern to anybody whose house he's ever sold, every client he's ever worked with. And for Larry Theodore at this point, it's like 4,832 people because he's been doing this forever and he sells like 100 houses a year.
Right.
But that's what he does. That's one of the things that he does all the time. So I think that's very smart.
Yeah. So between, the sphere of influence, staying in front of everyone that I know, letting them know what I do, that I'm the best at what I do, and just, putting everything out there, just every house, every deal, just putting it out there, and then keeping in touch with past clients. One of them, for example, one of them got promoted to sergeant. He's a police officer. And,
did you know this because you saw it through social media?
So his house had just closed at the time, and actually, I think it was social media. It's a little while ago at this point, but call him, say congratulations. He just got a new car. So, and he didn't show up to the closing. So I hadn't seen him after that, just because he wasn't in the area. He ended up moving locally, and I go to his house. I see him and his fiance, and I give them, a nice gift, and I threw in something extra, with the logo of the car that he bought,
nice.
A little keychain with the logo on it, just thinking about them, custom tailored gifts.
Yeah.
And, they're never going to forget that.
Smart.
And neither will anybody else, no matter what I drop off to them. And throughout the year, I'll get calls. Hey, my friend wants to sell their house. My friend is looking to move to the area. And between that, my sphere of influence, it tends to.
So let me ask you this question, because you're a very intuitive person at 23. Do you know what I knew at 23?
What?
Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. I was working in Kenneth. I just left the male strip club and I was working at Kenneth Cole selling clothes and shoes. I'm colorblind. So, people are probably walking out of there looking like a Rorschach test. And you intuitively know to do these things. You're like a 40-year-old man in a 23-year-old's body. How does that happen? How does that happen?
I always bring it back to how I started. Like, I got a very good start in real estate. And listen, it's not about where you start, it's where you finish and, how you really conduct your business. But I think I got such a strong start with the right people that they just showed me what to do in a couple of years. And I've just taken that and ran with it.
So this is all through the team, all through the mentorship that came with the team.
Yeah,
all that.
Absolutely.
So basically your overall kind of strategy is kind of what I do. So like when I do the top 20 under 40 podcast every single year. Right. For a lot of different reasons. But when I first started doing it, I was like, oh, I want to do business with realtors, right? Who's doing business and going to be around for a long time.
Yeah.
The top 20 under 40.
Absolutely.
It makes sense. So what I did was I found them online and then I requested them on Facebook because Instagram wasn't as big back then.
Right.
And then I would weave my way into their life in a non-creepy way. Right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of like what you do.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you make sure you follow them, they follow you, you're posting stuff, okay. And when you see something go on, then you reach out, hey, listen, I just saw that's freaking great. Congratulations. Right. The gift thing is really smart. You're very diligent about it. It's perfect. So you're basically using social media as a tool to then extend it to more of a personal relationship. And you use social media to kind of just say, hey, I'm here.
Right.
And you use it to see what's going on in their life so that you can reach out personally and say thank you, which is what people appreciate, or congratulations, or whatever it is.
Exactly.
That's the strategy.
Yeah.
It's working.
It seems to be working.
So it now basically becomes a whole word of mouth thing.
At that point, yes.
So every week the phone rings.
Just about.
There's no cold calling. There's no texting. There's no door knocking. There's no mailers. It's you being charming, being on social media, showcasing what you're doing, thinking of people, following up with them in a unique way, and then your phone rings all the time.
For the most part, there is still a little bit of door knocking, here and there, just because I like doing it. I like getting out there and just, meeting some people face to face.
Okay.
But it doesn't bring in the kind of business that,
the word of mouth stuff.
Exactly. It doesn't bring in that kind of business, at least for me.
So what do you have to say? So there are people that are very friendly like yourself, but let's say they don't, like you seem to actually know a lot of people, like just in general.
Right.
Talkative guy.
Yeah.
There are some people that are friendly, but they don't know a lot of people. Maybe they're new to the area.
Right.
Maybe they lived all the way out east and now they live out here. How do you suggest they go about building their sphere like that in a way that is quick rather than, a decade long?
Yeah. I would say definitely join a group. Think about your interests and think about, a group or not really so much a networking event, but just a group of people that share common interests that you can join. For example, I love cars. I went to a Ferrari event Monday night.
And oh, you like cars, like exotic cars.
Oh yeah.
Like really expensive cars.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, love them. So, there's no talk about real estate. There's no networking. It was just an event.
Yeah.
It's just, and it's so easy for me to talk about cars because I love cars and so does everyone there. It was mostly a private event.
Okay.
Half the people there already ordered this new car that was coming out that they were showcasing.
This was at the Ferrari dealership?
Yeah, the local dealership.
How'd you get the invite?
I know people.
Okay.
That's all I can really say about that. But I'm very thankful for the person that got me invited.
Nice. I bought a car there. I didn't get an invite.
Really?
No.
Yeah, I heard they were inviting pretty much all the owners.
I'm not in the inner circle.
Yeah, love your car.
You're
apparently
I saw
it on Instagram.
You're apparently in the inner circle. Thank you. So, what kind of car what kind of cars do you like?
Let's see. Love my Ferraris, Lamborghinis. I love all the exotics.
If you could have any car right now, what would it be?
Lamborghini Aventador SVJ.
Is that the new one that just came out?
So it's been out for a couple of years now, but that was the one that was going for like $1 million right after the shutdown.
Okay. I know what you're talking about. That wasn't the one. That's not the one that just came out with the snorkel on the top.
Oh yeah, the electric one. Yeah. No, this one's been around a few years now.
Yeah. No, Lamborghini. I like the Lambo.
Yeah, very cool.
A little tough to see in.
Definitely
can't see out the back.
No.
But dude, there's something so. I was never really into that kind of stuff. And I have a friend named Sal who has like 4 Ferraris. And I was always like, you know what? I don't like flashy shit. I don't like super nice cars like that. He's like, bro, listen, you're 43 years old. You worked your ass off. Like you can have something nice. Plus, and this was the most interesting thing, which you'll probably identify with. He's like, if that car doesn't make you whatever you paid back in the first year, he's like, I'll buy it off of you and take it. Because of just everything that the people that you meet as a result of having a car like that, driving a car like that, having people that are into cars like that, going to events like that.
Exactly.
You meet people like crazy and it'll change your life. And the first time I took that thing out, it doesn't matter where you go, doesn't matter how like wealthy the people are in that area.
100%.
People are always like, wow, that's really cool. Let me have a conversation. And before you know it, you're speaking to like, I don't know, like the mayor of some fucking city, whatever it is. And all of a sudden you're like,
exactly.
And there you are.
It's a conversation piece right there.
So your thing is find something that you're interested in, go out there. Don't necessarily specifically go there to talk about what you do, but it'll just come up naturally.
Exactly. Because nobody was there to talk about real estate. Nobody wanted to talk about real estate. No one expected to. But I went there, brought some fancy business cards, and I made sure at least about 10 people, probably about 10 people left with my card.
Nice.
And I made sure that I got metal cards. I order, 100 of them a couple times a year. I try to give them out. Who's throwing away a metal business card? Most people probably not.
That's true.
If they give you a regular business card, your typical paper card, it's more likely that it's going to get lost, thrown out, or, whatever else. You're less likely to hear from them. But, I made sure at least 10 people left with them, or close to 10.
No, that's smart. So is that something you try to do on a regular basis?
So that's not something I've done on a regular basis, but it's something I'm going to start doing on a regular basis.
Okay.
A lot of high-end car dealerships, they have these events where they're releasing a new car, or, they're making a new edition of a car that's already out, and they'll throw an event. It's mostly for the owners of the cars or, past customers of the dealership. But I know a lot of people in the car industry that I think I'll be able to get some more invites.
I never realized how that, because I'm clueless to this shit, because again, I've never really had a nice car in my whole life. So the whole concept of the allocation is wild.
Oh yeah.
You know how that shit works? You know how that works?
A little bit.
It's crazy. So let's say Ferrari puts out new cars, right? Let's say Ferrari puts out 10 cars a year, comes out, different models, right? And they're getting 3 or 4 of each or whatever it is, right? If you're one of let's say you're a Ferrari enthusiast and you really want to buy this one particular car, you can't do that. You have to buy every one of them.
Yeah.
So to be on the list, you have to buy every single one of them at the sticker price. Now, you might buy all of them. Let's say I'll make up a number at 300 grand. So each one of those things is 300 grand. Right? They make you keep them for like 6 or 9 months, and then you can put them back on the floor and sell them in consignment, usually for more than what you paid for them. But what you're really doing is you're trying to get that one car that comes out every year, every couple of years, which you buy for 300 grand, but it really end up worth like 1.2 million because there's limited amounts. But in order to do that, you have to buy every single friggin' car.
Exactly.
So there are people out there that are actually going around spending like 5, 6, 8, 10 million a year to buy every car that Ferrari puts out. But the crazy part is they're not just the buyer at Ferrari, they're the buyer at every luxury car dealership on Long Island. So when Bentley, Lambo, all those places, they have to buy every one of those cars. So you get these guys that are buying like 30 friggin' cars a year.
Right.
To keep like 2, and then they resell the other ones, but they have to buy all of them.
Exactly. And if you don't, which I was actually talking to someone the other night, he supposedly got an allocation for a Ferrari Roma.
Okay.
He said, he's like, I might get it, I might not. And he's not someone who's owned all the Ferraris. He's had a couple of them over the years.
How much is the Ferrari Roma?
It ranges, I think, high 200s at the low point. Higher ends, you can get into the 300s.
Okay.
So, he ordered one of those, got the allocation, and he still may not get it.
So meaning he may not get it, meaning they might not give it to him, or he might turn it down?
They might not give it to him.
Okay, I thought you said he was going to turn it down. If he's going to turn it down, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
But
which actually he did mention that he might turn it down. So it actually could be both.
And if you turn it down, that's it. You're done. You're out.
I don't know 100%, but I think it will hurt your chances for the future.
I could see you in a Ferrari.
Yeah.
I could see you in a Ferrari, blonde 9.8 next to you. Suit, no tie though.
No tie. I agree.
What color is the Ferrari?
Either
or the Lambo.
Let's see.
Yeah, I see you more as a Ferrari guy.
Yeah. And listen, I wouldn't be complaining with a Ferrari. But yeah, I mean, the color of the Ferrari, I'd say either red, the nice classic tan interior, or white, powder-coated black wheels and a red interior.
Yeah, and there's something about when you get in one of those things, it just changes everything about it. It changes everything. Changes the way you feel. It just makes you happy.
Oh yeah.
It really does. There's just something. You ever driven one?
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. It's a hard thing
It's a very exciting feeling.
If you're watching this podcast and you were like I was saying, hey, listen, I'm not going to go spend some ungodly number on a car that I really don't need for what reason, do it anyway. Listen to Sal. He was right. He's right about a lot of things. He was right about that.
I agree.
So at 23, you're killing it. You're doing 17, 18, 19, 20. Who knows how many deals this year in a down market.
Right.
Wait until 2025 when the rates drop and then it gets crazy again. What's the future hold for you?
Future holds, I say, short answer, more deals, more listings, more buyers. And, by that point, I'm thinking I'll likely be in the investment side of the business, rental properties, fix and flips. Definitely want to get into development. That's the most exciting to me. I know it's not easy. It's not all excitement. It's not all glamour, but it excites me the most, I'd say.
No, it's a cool thing. It's a fucking nightmare, but it's a cool thing. Mostly on the municipality side.
Oh, yeah.
It takes a minimum of 5 years to build anything, to start to build anything.
Yeah, it takes forever.
So that's the difficult part.
Right.
But you think you want to stay in Long Island? You're looking to venture out to other places, or Long Island is your home?
Long Island's my home.
Yeah,
Long Island's my home.
I know. Long Island is dope. So anybody out there who's looking to essentially do what you do, just starting out, or someone that's been in real estate for less than 5 years, who is trying to do double-digit deals, what do you recommend for them?
I definitely say, like I mentioned before, find what works for you. Find what lead source, what method works for you in generating deals. For me, like I said, it was the sphere of influence. It was, just staying in touch with past clients after I got the deals, and, it's going to seem very difficult. It's going to seem, which, listen, it is difficult, but it's going to seem impossible.
How long did it take you to actually get traction?
Traction, let's see. It took about a little under 2 years. And it hit like a train.
So basically it was, you were smacking your head up against the wall for 2 years and then all of a sudden took off.
Right. Like I was doing a few deals, like deal here, deal there. And, we were actually talking about this before, it was 2021, did a few deals. Wasn't bad. I wasn't complaining. But, I wanted to do more. Just like, just not doing as many deals as I'd like to do. And it just hit like a train. All of a sudden, September 2021, I had 13 houses in contract.
Shit.
And I don't even remember. It's all a blur. And it's crazy to say. I can't explain it, but it hit like a train. And, some were buyer deals, some were listings, some were referrals. One was an investor selling, 2 properties that I put into contract for him. So it was, a mixture of that.
How do you like working with the investors?
I like it, actually. I enjoy it. It's definitely not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know your stuff. Investors can see right through BS, right through it. Don't inflate numbers. Just be honest with them. Be real. And you will have a great time working with investors.
So in your opinion, I think it's good to have a mixed bag of business, obviously.
Absolutely.
So you want to work with a whole bunch of different people.
For sure.
This way it brings in deals from all angles. But how are you going out there to pursue and pitch investors? Like, what is your strategy for that?
So at first, in the very beginning, I started with just going through Instagram. I didn't even realize at the time how many builders and investors were just on Instagram. Like you. That's really how I found you. A couple of years ago, I just followed everybody, introduced myself, just talked about, what they want to buy. And realistically, the answer is going to be whatever makes money in, this county or this area, these few towns, whatever it might be. And, you just get friendly with them. And then, you get a deal, you send it to these people, they buy it or they make an offer, and then you get the listing back when it's done. And there's, there's a little more that goes into it. You have to look for off-market properties and, or, sometimes there are deals on the MLS. As much as people say there's no deals on the MLS, there are deals on the MLS if you look hard enough.
You are right. He is right.
If you really look, you might even find something that's not such a great deal. It's been on the market forever. People have thrown offers at it and the seller's like, no, I'm not budging, but you might get it at the right time and you make that lower offer and it gets accepted. You make the deal and now you get the listing back when it's done. So you basically just made 2 deals.
That was literally my strategy in the first year that I was in business. In the first year that I got into flipping, I did 11 deals. And that's exactly what I did. Like, I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any connections. The social media thing wasn't big. I had no freaking money. So what I would do is I would literally live on the MLS. So like I had a drip every time a new house would come out. I would get notified. Boom. It doesn't matter what time. And then I would try to jump on those when they first came out. Another thing that I did was at the time I was doing a lot of houses in like Wantos, Seaford. I was buying like a lot of capes. Right. So at the time you would buy one, let's say like anywhere from $250 to $275. You would gut renovate it and it was a $425 or $450 house, right?
Exactly.
Those houses are like fucking $650,000 today.
Yeah, easily.
But at the time, that's what it was. So what I did was I developed this strategy where I would search for every house in those areas that was at like $350.
Right.
And I was trying to buy a $275 or something close to $275. So I felt that that was high enough where other investors wouldn't go after it, but low enough where it was like close enough to the strike zone of where I might be able to get a deal done. And if they had been on the market for more than 3 months, I was like all over the agent, like, hey, this thing's obviously not selling. It's not selling. And that worked really well, obviously. I got 11 deals the first year, just hitting MLS all the time. So to your point, you're 100% right. Regardless of what people say, even myself, like I haven't bought anything that's been on the MLS in a long time because I'm really bringing in the off-market stuff. And now we're marketing, we have TV, we have outgoing, like there's so much shit that goes on.
Exactly.
But if you don't have any connections and don't have the money to market, you can find shit on MLS.
Absolutely. And that's also good for a new agent. If you learn the numbers and you just kind of reach out to some investors, because the investors don't care if you're a brand new agent or if you're in the business 20 years. They just want to know, can you bring them a deal?
Yep.
Can you be real with them? Are you knowledgeable? And, as a new agent, it might take a little time to get knowledgeable, but, if you're really trying, you can learn a lot very quickly.
And once you work with them a few times, that's it. Or once you work with them once, that's it. You bring that one deal, that's it.
Exactly.
And then there's a lot of it, like you also have to think, and I always tell agents that want to get in with more investors, I say, listen, join the local RIAs, go to the different meetup groups, because there are investors that get properties off market, right?
Absolutely.
And they need to sell it with somebody.
Right.
So who are they going to sell it with? They're going to sell it either with somebody that gives them deals as kind of like a thank you, or they're going to give it to somebody who they like, who's giving them value in some other way.
Definitely.
Running comps for them, doing this, doing that, whatever it is. Just, being nice, being friendly, giving them general market feedback, and just being around all the time.
Exactly. You provide them with value, you'll see the return.
I love it. Listen, congratulations. I'm proud of you. You're a young guy. You're doing your thing. At 23, I didn't even know which way was up. You've closed probably 50 deals at this point. So
pretty close.
Congratulations. If anybody out there, especially in the Merrick, Belmore area, is looking to buy or sell, how do they get a hold of you? How do they get in touch with you?
So you can call me, 516-359-1353. That's my cell phone number. Call me anytime. You can shoot me a DM right here on Instagram, Jonathan, JONATHAN _JMS Realty LI.
Bam. Charles the Handsome Home Buyer. If you have a house that smells like cat pee, dated from the 1960s, 6 inches of mold on the wall, human waste flowing past the basement steps. Greg?
You want to buy it?
I want to buy it. 516-777-SOLD. And obviously, this podcast and every other is sponsored by Sal Rizzolo, Cardinal Financial. I almost said Carl Rizzolo. Sal Finance. Yeah, I almost inverted that. You get the point. He's the man. He's basically like Mortgages Meets the Show Office on Instagram all day, every day. But he's a hell of a loan officer. If you don't know him, you should know him. Reach out to him. Tell him Handsome sent you. That's a wrap.